Okay, so it is now day 10, and I went past Godzilla today. So today, if I had gone with Godzilla movies, it would have been Son of Godzilla. But instead, I decided to go with the 1970 film called Space Amoeba. It's also known as something else. It's like three names of three different characters or something. I forget what exactly it is, but it's it's in Japanese, and I don't quite remember it. But basically, the reason that I went with this film was because there are two Godzilla films that I'm going to skip, and Son of Godzilla is one of them. Now, a lot of people really like Son of Godzilla, and that's fine. You can like it. I'm just not a big fan. That one's a little more focused on, and it's weird because that's one of the ones that's almost like straight kaiju, like because it's Godzilla and his son, but there's humans on an island. They fight some like mantises, and then Godzilla tries to teach his son how to breathe fire, and he only blows smoke at first, but then he does something. It's just really cheesy. It's not really my cup of tea when it comes to Godzilla films. The other one that we'll be skipping after the next one is, God, I forgot. It's like All Monsters Attack or something like that. And basically, that one is just a really weird. And I'll talk about that one maybe tomorrow or maybe when the next thing pops up when I'm supposed to be watching it that day. Because tomorrow is probably my favorite of all time. And a lot of people probably know which one it is. But so that's why I'm skipping Son of Godzilla. I'm not saying it's terrible. It's probably the least terrible out of all of the Godzilla movies, but it just never really clicked for me. So, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. I can spend my first 2 minutes talking about Son of Godzilla and why I don't like it, but I'm here to talk about Space Amoeba. So, what is Space Amoeba? Well, it's a kaiju film. It's from, like I said, 1970. It's got a good runtime. First time seeing it like ever, and basically the basic story is that there's an unmanned satellite that goes out into space. It's meant to go way past the end of the galaxy. Some space thing, the Space Amoeba, I guess that's what it is, hijacks it and then comes to Earth, and they all land on an island. There's a company that's trying to put together a like underwater hotel or something like that on this island because it's like the perfect place. But they need to get some pictures of the island, and they try to get this photographer there to go with it. He is reluctant, and he finds out that his friend that's a doctor, well, not like a doctor, but, one of those archaeologist type doctors, like an Indiana Jones type of doctor. He is going to the island because he thinks that there's some giant monsters there, and he has a chance to actually, figure it out. Now, the funny thing is this is the first one of these that I've watched in English. And man, I always forget how bad these English dubs are. It's relatively terrible. First off, some of the voices just don't match some of the characters, and it makes it even funnier to watch when you're watching it because everything's out. It sounds like they use the same girl to do all the dubbing for all of the girls in this too. Like it's just a small inflection, and it sounds exactly the same. But anyway, so they go to the island, and they're accompanied by another gentleman who happens to be a rival that's trying to steal the plans for the hotel, but he's kind of pretending that he's an anthropologist and that he's there to study the people. It turns out that there's some things going on weird on the island, and actually the Space Amoeba, it has come to the island and taken over a like giant octopus. Now the giant octopus I think is Gyorza, and I always remember that one because it actually came or was used in the Godzilla Nintendo game from way back in the day. And that's the one where you could play as Godzilla or Mothra, and you basically had these like walking stages, and it looked like a chessboard or like a board game type of thing. And you move along the board, and then if you stopped in a certain area, you'd have like things that you could fight and whatnot. And so he was always one of the first monsters that you could fight, along with I think Megalon. I think that was the other monster that you could. I know somebody's going to correct me on that, but I always forget which one it was exactly. But that's what I grew up. I always just borrow it from my cousin because he was the one that owned it, and I really wanted to play it so much. And I had a lot of fun playing it, but remember, it gets really annoying fast. But anyway, so yeah, so that's where the squid monster, or octopus monster, whatever you want to call it, comes from this film. And it's weird that it's in this game, but he's actually in another Godzilla movie later on. That's the other reason why I did this one. So basically, you deal with the squid monster for most of the movie. They end up finding how to defeat him. And they also figure out that bats, because they have a subsonic frequency, also fuck with the amoeba. Well, the amoeba takes over the guy that was going to steal all the plans and tries to destroy all the rest of the bats on the island. Fails. You get a cuttlefish, and then something called a mata-mata. They also get possessed. And mata-mata is like a giant tortoise. Almost look like Gamera. Like maybe they were making fun of Gamera or something like that. And so you actually get a couple of interesting, like, you get one kaiju fight, which is between the cuttlefish and the mata-mata right at the end when the amoeba no longer has control over them. And that's pretty entertaining until they die in the, at the end of the film. But I can tell you exactly how they die. So is it entertaining? Yeah, it's not bad. It's actually, I think, a lot better that I watched it in English because I think it made it a lot funnier because some of the stuff was really terrible. Some of the little animation things that they did, and definitely one point where they threw a mannequin across the screen was pretty goddamn funny. But overall, I would give this 3 out of 3 cuttlefishes. I mean, it's 3 out of 5, not 3 out of 3. It's relatively entertaining. You can find it on Amazon right now on Prime, at least at the time that I'm recording this. If you're watching this in the future, I don't know if you can find it there anymore. But if you've never seen it before like me, it's worth a shot. I think you could find a lot of entertainment out of it. So tomorrow we're back to Godzilla, and it's a doozy of one. So we'll see you then.